If a flickering light has ever ruined your afternoon, if someone else's bad mood lands in your chest like it is your own, if a loud restaurant leaves you needing an hour alone just to feel normal again, you have probably spent years assuming something was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is running a program that roughly 20% of the human population runs. It has a name. It has been validated by brain imaging studies. It survived in the human population for thousands of generations because it provides something the other 80% cannot replicate as efficiently. The 8 signs in this video will tell you whether you are one of them. And if you are, a lot of things about yourself that never made sense probably will be by the end. Sign number 1. Loud environments do not just annoy you, they drain you. Everyone finds excessive noise unpleasant, but for an HSP, a crowded restaurant, an open-plan office, or a shopping mall during the holidays does not just irritate, it exhausts. After 30 minutes in a loud, chaotic environment, you feel like you have run a mental marathon. This is not a personality quirk. Brain imaging research published in the journal Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience found that highly sensitive individuals show significantly greater activation in brain regions associated with awareness, empathy, and sensory integration when exposed to stimuli. Your brain is not filtering out background noise the way other brains do. It is processing all of it, simultaneously, at full depth. Every conversation at the next table, every clinking glass, every shift in lighting is entering your system and demanding cognitive resources. You are not being dramatic. Your hardware is running a heavier program than the person sitting next to you. Sign number 2. You absorb other people's emotions like a sponge. If someone near you is stressed, angry, or sad, you do not just notice it, you feel it in your own body. Their tension becomes your tension. Their sadness sits in your chest as if it were your own. Research has shown that HSPs exhibit heightened activation in the mirror neuron system, the neural network that allows you to internally simulate what another person is experiencing. In most people, this system runs at a moderate baseline. In highly sensitive individuals, it runs at high gain. A study published in Brain and Behavior found that people scoring high on the sensory processing sensitivity scale showed amplified neural responses when viewing images of others in emotional distress. You are not choosing to absorb other people's emotions. Your brain is automatically mirroring them at a higher resolution than average. This is why a tense meeting can leave you feeling physically unwell even when the conflict had nothing to do with you. Your nervous system did not get that memo. Sign number 3. You need more time alone to recover than your social enjoyment would suggest. This is the sign that confuses people the most because it looks identical to introversion but operates on a completely different mechanism. Many HSPs genuinely enjoy social interaction. They love deep conversations, connection, and group experiences. But after those experiences, they hit a wall of exhaustion that seems disproportionate to what they actually did. An introvert recharges alone because solitude is their preferred state. An HSP recharges alone because their nervous system has been running at maximum processing capacity during every second of social contact, reading facial microexpressions, tracking vocal tones, registering emotional undercurrents, and managing sensory input from the environment simultaneously. The recovery is not from socializing, it is from processing. You enjoyed the party. Your brain ran a supercomputer during it, and now it needs to cool down. Sign number 4. You have a lower threshold for physical pain. This one surprises people because they do not associate emotional sensitivity with physical sensation. But the connection is neurological, not psychological. Research published in the journal Pain found that individuals with higher sensory processing sensitivity reported greater pain intensity from identical stimuli compared to low sensitivity participants. The same neural amplification that makes you feel emotions more deeply also makes you feel physical sensation more intensely. A tag on a shirt that nobody else notices feels like sandpaper. A mildly uncomfortable chair becomes unbearable after 10 minutes. A headache that someone else would describe as mild feels like a vice. This is not low pain tolerance in the sense of mental weakness. It is high sensory gain. Your nervous system is literally receiving a louder signal from the same input. The volume knob on your physical experience is set higher than most, and this extends beyond pain. Temperature sensitivity, texture aversion to certain fabrics, discomfort from seams in socks or waistbands that nobody else can feel. These are all expressions of the same amplified sensory processing running across your entire body, not just your emotions. Sign number 5. You notice details that other people miss entirely. You walk into a room and immediately notice that the furniture has been rearranged. You detect a subtle shift in someone's tone before they have finished their sentence. You catch a continuity error in a film that none of your friends saw. This hyper-awareness of environmental detail is one of the hallmark features of sensory processing sensitivity. Dr. Aaron's original research identified it as one of the 4 core pillars of the trait, described as depth of processing. Your brain does not skim the surface of incoming information. It runs it through more layers of analysis before filing it. This is why you often know something is wrong in a social situation before anyone else does, and why people sometimes find your observational abilities unsettling. You are not psychic. You are just processing at a higher sampling rate than the people around you. This is also why HSPs are disproportionately drawn to creative fields, investigative work, and quality-focused roles. The thing everyone else calls perfectionism is often just a brain that cannot stop noticing the details that need fixing. Sign number 6. Decisions drain you more than they should. Choosing a restaurant, picking a paint color, or deciding what to watch should not require the cognitive effort of filing taxes. But for an HSP, every decision involves an involuntary, deep processing loop. You do not just evaluate the obvious options. You simulate outcomes, anticipate consequences, factor in how each option might affect everyone involved, and weigh emotional dimensions that most people never consider. Research from Stony Brook University found that highly sensitive individuals showed more activation in brain areas associated with deliberation and deeper cognitive processing during decision-making tasks than their less sensitive peers. The processing is thorough but slow. This is why small decisions feel disproportionately tiring and why you might avoid making them altogether when you are already depleted. Your brain is not indecisive. It is running a more comprehensive evaluation than the task requires, and it does not have an off switch for that. Sign number 7. Caffeine, medication, and alcohol hit you harder than expected. If half a cup of coffee makes your heart race, a standard dose of cold medicine knocks you out, or one glass of wine has you noticeably affected while everyone else is still warming up, this is consistent with the HSP profile. Sensory processing sensitivity does not only apply to external stimuli, it extends to internal chemical signals. Research suggests that the same heightened neural responsiveness that amplifies sound, light, and emotion also amplifies the body's response to pharmacological inputs. Your nervous system is more reactive to chemical changes in the bloodstream, which means substances that produce a moderate effect in most people can produce an outsized effect in you. This is not about body weight or tolerance in the traditional sense. It is about signal amplification at the neural level. If you have ever been told you are a lightweight and felt embarrassed by it, that reaction was your neurochemistry being honest about how your system processes substances. Sign number 8. You were told your entire life that you are too sensitive. This is the final sign, and it is the most important one, because if every sign on this list resonated with you, there is a very high probability that you have heard some version of this phrase repeated throughout your childhood, your relationships, and your professional life. Too sensitive, too emotional, too intense. You think too much. You feel too much. You need thicker skin. And because you heard it from people you trusted, you believed it. You internalized the idea that your neurological wiring was a defect. But Dr. Aaron's research and the brain imaging studies that followed tell a fundamentally different story. Sensory processing sensitivity did not survive in 20% of the human population for thousands of generations by being a flaw. Evolutionary biologists classify it as a survival strategy. In any group, having members who detect subtle environmental changes, read social dynamics with precision, and process threats at a deeper level before they become obvious provides a critical advantage to the collective. Research has found the same trait in over 100 other species, from fruit flies to primates, always at a similar minority ratio. Nature did not make a mistake with you. It made you on purpose. You were not built wrong. You were built for a specific function that the other 80% cannot perform as efficiently. Tell me in the comments how many of these signs matched, and which one finally gave a name to something you have felt your entire life but could never explain. If this reached you at the right time, send it to someone who has been called too sensitive one too many times. They need to hear what it actually means.